welcome to the F&O Show on BloombergQuint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Darshan Mehta. Good morning, Agam.
Good morning, Darshan. I'm Agam Akil. Let's start by taking a look at the headlines. January series begins on a steady note for the markets. The Nifty rebounds towards 12,200. Canara Bank and REC are seeing a rise in open interest towards fresh longs. TCS is the top point contributor to the Nifty downside. TCS along with HUL are contributing to as much as 17 points to the decline. And after 4 days of losses, Reliance Industries is among the top gainers today. The stock is the top point contributor to gains.
Okay, let's take a look at what the futures and option markets are doing at this point of time. Not a bad start, at least for the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. The Nifty's managed to rally significantly after a rather weak trade. So the Nifty is up almost 0.5%. The Sensex is up 0.5%, and the Nifty Bank seems to be doing well. It's up almost close to 1% in trade. So there is enough traction that's happening on the futures itself. Let's take a look at where the open interest build-up is happening. So the Nifty futures are trading at a premium of 60 points currently at the 12,200 mark. 12,250 mark. Let's take a look at where open interest build-up is being seen on the Nifty and the Bank and the Nifty, so we can see where positions are being built. It's the first day of the new series. So if we can have that up, we can indicate where positions are being built. We had just had that chart. Let's bring that up. Yeah, so at 12,200, there seems to be enough call writing at 12,300 also. So call writers are writing in there, put writers from 12,000 to 12,200. So 12,200 is something that's important. And if that is taken out comprehensively, we might see much more short covering that will come into the market. So this is the first day of the series. In terms of open interest build-up, yes, put writers are active today. 12,100 and 12,200 is where they are much more aggressive. So expect more short covering to come in if the Nifty manages to rally. But in terms of stock futures, what are they indicating?
Right. Well, in terms of stock futures, it's of course a new series, so we are largely going to see a lot of accumulation in OI. So let's pull up that list of stocks which are seeing a surge in open interest. Canara Bank is right at the top of the list, and we also have Manappuram Finance, REC, Muthoot Finance. All of them are advancing in trade. Bank of Baroda is also looking at a lot of strength. So we do have advances there as well. But gains in open interest have anywhere between 9% to as much as 19.5% among the top movers. So we'll be watching out for some of these names as we move in, Darshan. But what else? What are the other stocks that we are discussing today? So
yeah, let's take a look at some of the stocks that we will be discussing on the show. Some of the counters. Max Financial, that trades at a 52-week high. It's been in and around that level. It's been rising and then cooling off. So Max Financial is very interesting, and Canara Bank fresh longs are seen. So we'll discuss that with our guest today. Okay.
Well, time to get in our experts. But before that, here's a reminder: if you have any queries regarding futures and options markets, you can call us on 022-454-04141. Of course, write to us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube with the AskPQ hashtag. Today we have with us Kunal Shah of Indiabulls Ventures and Hemen of KRChoksey joining us on the show. Good morning to both of you, and thanks for taking the time out. Hemen, I start with you. What's the way forward for the benchmark indices, and how would you go about them?
A very good morning to you. Thank you for having me on the show. We're looking at a bounce. We walked into a small correction. I don't think anything changes much. I guess 12,000. We didn't even go to 12,000 actually. And for the Bank Nifty, I guess it's around 32,000. So we briefly breached that. So we've taken a cool off, and I don't think anything changes year end. So it's natural, but I think individual stocks continue to look positive. And after some time, I think even the mid caps and the small caps are showing signs of life. So I would be more script specific than market specific. But yeah, I don't see any major reversals yet. Yes, in this bounce, if we don't make a new high, then there'll be some cause for trepidation and maybe slightly a bigger period of consolidation.
Okay, that's Hemen's view. Kunal, what's your view on the Nifty, and which are the strategies that you have for us today?
Good morning, Agam and Darshan. See, overall, if I talk about the index, definitely whatever we have been seeing in the past 1 to 2 months, any dip into the market has been bought very strongly. That is what the trend has been, and even today we saw that. Again, it is participation from the entire sectorial basis. We are seeing some good movement in the PSU banks as well as in the financial sectors. So I think some kind of positive movement is definitely starting to build up. For Nifty, I think 12,300 now stands as a crucial resistance. Even in the last expiry, 12,300 was something where fresh call writing has been observed, and even in today's trade, 12,300 will act as a hurdle. Once that is taken out, I think we are heading towards 12,600 to 12,800 kind of levels on the upside. So I think yes, the momentum has started to build up. One should definitely utilize dips to buy the index. 12,200 to 12,100 is a support zone which will now act as a cushion for the markets. A breakout about 12,300 will confirm the uptrend, and we will see a 500-600 points rally even from there. So I think overall the trend is very positive. One should utilize dips to buy futures as well as call options and look for an upside targets of 12,300, which is the first hurdle, and if that is crossed, then next would be 12,400 to 500 kind of levels. For Bank Nifty, similar the view stands at the current levels. 32,000 is a very crucial support for Bank Nifty on the downside. Yesterday we tested the support, again we bounced back strongly from those levels. Now on the upside, 32,500 is the next resistance level for Bank Nifty. That is the immediate target which I'm expecting in today's trade. If that is hold and we close above 32,500, then again a 500 point rally towards 33,000 is likely to be there in the next 1 to 2 days. So overall for both the index, the view still remains quite positive. For Bank Nifty, 32,000 is a crucial support, and for Nifty, 11,200 to 11,100 is a very crucial support.
Okay. So that's your view on the Nifty and the Nifty Bank futures. But Hemen, I'll come back to you on stocks that are looking interesting to you. What do you have on your radar?
A couple of stocks. I think firstly, a buy call on Axis Bank. It has moved a bit, so one would need to tweak the figures a bit. So buy Axis Bank at on a small decline at 745, stop loss 740, target 755. And the other stock which looks promising is LIC Housing Finance account. We've been oversold, we moved up. Now LIC Housing Finance is also moving, so one would have to tweak the figures over there also. So buy at 434, stop loss 430, target 452. Both are oversold. We've seen some action in a while and looks like a bounce coming in. So we are playing for a short-term bounce for a few trading sessions ago.
So should Hemen, the counter is already higher than when you had recommended. Is it still, if someone wants to still take a bet, because your target is over 450 for that, should they still buy at this level, or you recommend only buy on a decline?
I think I'd wait for a decline. I'm not sure the market is set for a runaway rise, in the sense, what I mean to say is, we're going on a holiday weekend. We don't have a holiday on the first, the lack of participation. So the market isn't that red hot that one would chase the stock. Like you said, Darshan, I'd wait for small cool off before buying.
Okay, Kunal, I believe you also have LIC Housing Finance as one of the longs. What's your strategy there, and which is the other stock that you like?
See, I think overall, as I mentioned at the start of the show, finance sector looks quite attractive at the current level. We are seeing some significant buying coming from the lower levels. So my first pick would be Manappuram Finance. The stock is already in a very strong uptrend. It has hit even fresh all-time highs even in today's trade, and the momentum is likely to continue towards the levels of 180 to 185 kind of a zone on the upside. So Manappuram Finance could be even bought at the current levels. One can keep a stop loss of 173 on the downside and look for targets of 182 to 184 on the upside. My second pick is LIC Housing Finance. The stock has now formed a very strong base at the lower levels. 425 to 428 is kind of a zone where the stock has formed a strong base, and we can see an upside towards the levels of 442 to 445 on an immediate basis. Now 445 is the next hurdle for the stock. If that is crossed and closed above, then definitely a rally towards 470, 480 is also likely possible. So I think on a very short-term basis, 445 looks very attractive at the current levels, where the first target is likely to be achieved. If that is sustained, then the next target could be 460 to 470 kind of a zone.
Okay, so these are a handful of ideas coming in from our experts, and LIC Housing Finance being the common idea between both of them, and both of them are looking to go long on them. But a couple of stocks that Darshan and I want to address, Max Financial is one of them. We're starting to look at some amount of traction today. Of course, it's given away from its day's highs, but it's up as much as, of course, it's up at 12-month basis, it's up 21%. Of course, Kunal was mentioning a lot of activity around the financial sector. Max Financial is looking at gains today. It's like I said, it's off day's highs, but there is still a lot of traction with respect to open interest, which is up as much as 4%. It is also trading near its 52-week highs. So the question is, what would you do with this one? Hemen, can I come to you on this one? Max Financial, how's this one looking to you?
MFSL, Max Financial, like you said, it's closer to its all-time high, and we spent around 7 trading sessions over here, Agam, and looks good. We actually remain in a longer-term uptrend, Agam, and we've seen some 4% long build-up coming in today. I would say a close above 543 should mean a continuation. Okay, we remain in a medium and longer-term uptrend. A small period of consolidation above 543 is where I see a breakout coming in. So either one can sell the 510 put option or buy the 550 call option, because once we cross 543, I think a 15-point jump should get it in the money. So I mean, one can play it either ways. It could take a day or two more of consolidation before this breakout comes in, though, because it hasn't yet broken out.
Kunal, what's your sense on Max Financial? It's been very range bound between 500 to 530. Do you think that this time around it will break on the higher side? What's your ideal strategy for Max Financial?
See, overall, if I talk about the long-term structure, the stock had given a fresh breakout after a series of consolidation from 470 kind of a zone. Now the stock is forming a very strong base around the levels of 500 kind of a zone. So I think definitely there has been significant volumes in the last couple of sessions, and the stock is ready to even see a fresh all-time high. So I think definitely 540, 550 levels is what on an immediate basis I am expecting into the stock. So at the current level, the risk reward is also favorable. One can definitely look to buy even at the current levels, keep a day's low stop loss of 525 and look for targets of 545 to 550 on the upside.
Okay, the other one is Canara Bank, which is trading above its crucial daily moving averages. It's buzzing today. We don't have a lot of counters which are actually moving quite a bit in today's day of trade, but well, Canara Bank is one of the top gainers, not only in terms of spot but also in terms of open interest. So the question is, what do you do with this one? Have things changed here? Hemen, I come back to you on this one. Canara Bank, your view here.
Well, technically it remains range bound, but like you said, a huge OI built up what is around 20%, and we're in a 9 trading session range, 220 on the downside, 232 on the upside. But yes, looking at the quantum of the OI build up, I believe this is a long build up. The weekly picture seems sanguine to positive, so I would say stop loss comes in at yesterday's low. One can anticipate a move. Once again, breakout hasn't come in, it comes in above 232, but looks good. Or ideally wait for a move about 232 and keep a 5-point stop loss. We look like crossing 238 this time around, and like you said, today's market there's not much to look at. Can Bank stands out.
What's your sense, Kunal, on Canara Bank? How do you play this one, or any other PSU bank that you like at this point of time?
See, overall, talking on the PSU sectors, they have been trying to gain momentum since the past 1 month, but I think the momentum is still not there on the upside. For CanBank, if I say 232, 233 is a resistance zone, till the time it doesn't cross these levels, I would not be bullish at the current level. So 233 is close above those levels, then definitely a rally towards 270, 280 is kind of possible on the upside. So for me, at the current level, it's a wait and watch game. Let the stock close about 233, then there will be be a fresh momentum and a fresh breakout that would be coming into the stock, and then we can see a significant rally on the upside. Overall, talking on the PSU space, I think I still like SBI at the current levels. SBI definitely looks very attractive and quite a safe bet at the current levels. The stock is in a strong uptrend and is forming a higher base on the chart, so one can definitely look for levels of 350 on an immediate basis. That is the resistance where the highest call writing is also happening at. So I think 350 is likely to be there in the very short term. So with and the downside support is at 330. So 350 is something which I'm looking at SBI at the current levels, and if that is breached on the upside, then a rally towards 400 is also likely possible. So SBI is something I'm very bullish from the PSU pack.
Okay, and from there onwards, we start taking queries from our viewers, and the first one comes from ICICI Bank. It's from a viewer named Saurav Sarkar. It's actually specifically with respect to the 540 call, and we do know that ICICI Bank has advanced by quite a bit of late. It has seen some amount of consolidation over the last 3 or 4 sessions, but it is trending above the 540 call right now. Kunal, coming back to you, how are you seeing ICICI Bank pan out, and what is your view on this call, which is already in the money? So how would you advise Saurav to go about it?
See, overall, talking about the trend, definitely the trend is quite bullish into the stock, but I'm not seeing immediate upside into the stock specifically for the current expiry. We might expire around the levels of 540, 545 kind of levels, but at the current levels, I'll say that if the stock goes above 543, then there is a kind of a small breakout that would be coming into the stock, and we can see levels of 550, 555 coming into the zone. So overall, with the trend, I think the call is definitely the timing of buying the call at the current level is something which I would be not comfortable with. Although since he has bought the call, I think 537 is the stop loss on the cash which he should see at. If 537 is breached, then he should exit the position.
Okay, the next viewer query is from Harshvardhan. He's saying, please give your view on IOC short at 127.5 put option. So he wants to short the 127.5 put. It's at 6 rupees currently. Hemen, what strategy would you suggest?
Well, if he's shorting the put, that means he's going long. I agree with the logic because I believe there is a small upward bias. But 127 put makes it in the money. I would do the 120, 122. I would do the 120 put because we've been over here for the OI isn't showing anything significant, Darshan, but we've been over here for almost 10 trading sessions. And no, I won't be too comfortable selling in the money put. I'd be selling slightly out of the money put.
Okay, fine, fair enough. That's how you should go about that, Harshvardhan, because I mean that requires you to reduce your risk in this case. But moving on to Kotak Mahindra Bank, and we've been getting several queries of late on Kotak Mahindra Bank, possibly because it has seen so much strength as compared to possibly some of its peers. Let's take a look at this futures. It has come off and is currently trading below 1,700 rupees per share. Kunal, would you take this as an opportunity to go long on Kotak Mahindra Bank? How would you help Ramesh out? This query is for him.
See, I think overall, talking about the trend, definitely it is in an uptrend. You should utilize again dips to buy the stock. 1650 is now a strong base for the stock on the downside. As long as 1650 is not breached, we may see a rally towards 1730, 1750 kind of a zone. So I think definitely my recommendation would be to stay in the stock. In fact, utilize dips towards 1680, 1675 kind of a zone to again accumulate further longs. Keep a stop loss of 1650. You can expect a rally towards 725 to 750 kind of a zone.
Okay, and the final query comes in from F&O student. He wants to know if ICICI Prudential looks like a good short at this point of time. Kunal, does ICICI Pru look a good short at current levels?
Definitely not. I think the stock has on a daily basis given a breakdown, but I think still it is holding the support of 482 on the downside. So I think 482, 480 is kind of a support. We can see some bounce coming from those levels. If the stock closes below 480, then it is an opportunity for a fresh short, and you can see levels of 465 to 460 coming into the stock. But looking at the overall trend, the trend is very strong. I would be a buyer definitely in this stock. Whatever dips I get into the stock, I would be utilizing that to buy the stock, and once the stock breaks out above 500 kind of a zone, then 530, 540 is quite possible. So my advice is, if it closes below 480, then only you should short the counter.
Okay, what we've also seen of late is a lot of traction in some of these gold lending stocks, Manappuram Finance being one of them. We have Frankie Johnson, who wants a view for one, the January expiry, and secondly, a one-year view as well. Well, we have Hemen with us. This one is directed towards him. Hemen, how would you help Frankie out with Manappuram Finance, keeping in mind the January expiry as well as a one-year view?
Okay, January expiry seems to be the easy part. We remain in an established uptrend, and we have been for the last 6-7 months or so. So the outlook remains positive. We were in a small range, 169 to 177. Today we are on the cusp of breaking out from this range. So we are heading towards 184, 185. So the January expiry seems to be positive. The bigger range was between 152 to 174. I mean, we are breaking out from there. In terms of the whole year, we remain in an uptrend, short, medium, longer term uptrend. Outlook remains positive. We don't have any resistance level. There are clear blue skies from that point of view. So I wouldn't have a target on it, but whatever data I have seems to suggest quarterly, monthly, weekly, on all time frames, we remain safely ensconced in a uptrend. Nothing changes. For me, once we cross 180 or 185, I'd use 174 as a shorter term positional stop, because that is crucial to be maintained. And if I have a slightly longer term view, I would say protect profit or a stop loss at 150. So looks good. Further upside seems like a cinch. How much more? We would have to wait and see, but seems good.
Okay, and perhaps the final query here, we have one from Magic Moments. Wants a view on Vedanta. Let's pull the futures up. Was flat, absolutely flat. No change in open interest today. Can we pull up the kind of trend that it has shown, maybe in a 1 month or a 3 month basis? So, in a 1 month basis, it's seen a little bit of a rise, but it's not too much. It's not substantial enough. And in terms of the 3 month basis, perhaps we can get a better idea of trend. Well, not very discernible, at least as far as the trend is concerned. But that said, Kunal, what would your advice to Magic Moments be on Vedanta?
See, at the current level, since the last couple of months, we have been seeing metal seeing a lot of rise of about 40 to 50%. Vedanta was one counter which was not participating. That is indicating a trend that it is a laggard in the entire space. So I think Vedanta is something I would not be preferring from the metal sector. So my advice is that definitely, if he is interested into the metal space, then there are a lot of better stocks such as Tata Steel, JSW Steel, Hindalco. These are the stocks which one should definitely be in. At the current levels, Vedanta doesn't look quite attractive. The overall long-term formation also seems quite bearish. The stock has an immediate resistance at around 165, 166 kind of a zone. So I think Vedanta is something which I would not prefer from the metals pack. You can definitely opt for Tata Steel or JSW Steel or Hindalco.
Okay, well, on that note, I am going to take a moment to thank both our experts, Kunal and Hemen, for joining us and taking us through their views on the markets. For more updates on the F&O space, also check our website, BloombergQuint.com.
Okay, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. From Agami and the entire team watching, thanks for watching the show. For more news and updates, stay tuned to BloombergQuint.